All right, brothers, what's going on? Sisters, you know what I'm saying? I got two special guests, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna call their names out. If they want to, that's on them. Anyway, brothers, I'm going we're gonna react to this video that caused Ebony Williams to want to have a discussion with Iana. I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. But she's here on the Breakfast Club. This interview was done last year. So, we're in 2024, but Iana put out some good points. There were women that were a little bit upset with what she said. So I do have one woman on the panel that is going to represent some other women out there in society. She might have some good things to say. She might have some bad things to say. I don't know. But we're going to just go straight into the part where she starts to talk about feminine presence. So let's go ahead and get to it. And my me and my and the guest will be chiming in here and there. Let's get to it.
Friends, chatting, shopping. But when the man comes home, what they meet is another dude.
Mm, mm.
You know how women are up. It's just so.
Why do you think that happened?
And why do you think it's such a problem?
It's a problem, first of all, because the feminine presence is missing on this planet. That's why we got so much hoopla and conflagration going on with the weather, with the politics, because see, the old male guard is dying. That masculine patriarchy, it's dying off. And you see them fighting and clawing to hold on to power with that's the whole Roe v. Wade turnover. Oh, we gonna control you.
Mm-hmm.
We gonna control you and your hoo-ha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like women get pregnant by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have some bill where men are involuntarily sterilized. How about that? Can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Just take your.
I don't know. So let me tell you something. I'm not sure why she feels that men should be sterilized, and they actually did a lot of that stuff in the military, but there was a reason for that. To military, when the men. So, but the sterilization thing, I think that's a little bit too far to a certain extent. So, but we can go ahead and continue unless anybody else has anything that they want to put out.
She said the Roe v. Wade is the equivalent of involuntarily doing on as far as in retrospect of a man being sterilized is crazy. Secondly, the reason why a lot of people in a lot of other states are saying that's why they have to reinforce that is because women are using it like a birth control more than any other reason. That's the main reason. It's not mainly towards.
True.
So the fact that that's
not true.
Well,
that
is true.
That's not.
The most,
but that's not why the eradication of the Roe. That wasn't why it was eradicated, or pulled from under the federal protection, quote unquote, of the Constitution. But that's not why it was. It was never should have never been protected by the Constitution in which they presented it. It's not federal. It should be governed by the states, and that's really why they eradicated it, because it shouldn't have been. It was never protected by. Not that it shouldn't have been. It was never protected by the Constitution.
Starting early with the interrupting. So I don't think you heard the first 5 words that I said about what people were saying by state. I didn't say anything about why it was eradicated. I said this is the main reason people were talking about why they said they wanted to get rid of it in the first place. But yeah, that's also correct, Tanya. Thank you. That's all I got to say.
All righty. So let's go ahead and continue. There was something else that, you know what, I'm not gonna speak too much on Roe versus Wade because I don't really want to get too much.
But I will say I disagree with her stating that that's the equivalent. I don't know what Slim is doing, but I don't believe that's the equivalent to involuntarily. What did she say? Involuntarily cutting men's wee wee off?
Sterilize.
Is that what she said?
Sterilizing. No,
Oh,
just preventing
sterilizing.
them from being the sterilizing, preventing them from even being able to reproduce.
Right.
I want y'all to pay attention to the undertone when she says when she has rhetoric like that. The undertone about around it is just like it's like she's the way she's saying it is if I can't really explain it, but you know how she already has these mannerisms when she's expressing herself.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she just did talking about the that I would have to just I can't even but the way she was talking about I can't even tell Slim cut this part out. I'm joking. But the way she was expressing the way she felt about the Roe v. Wade, the way she looks at it is she's basically being women are put in a position where we're put in a position where their rights were taken away, basically. And by doing that, and there you go. I'm glad you kind of did do that because it was a federal decision. So there's still places that still do it. It's just they gotta go through another procedure for why they have to get it done. So they didn't like completely demolish.
No,
no,
not at all.
they didn't.
It's
No, they didn't. So a lot of people think they got rid of it. Some states do. They even have in the bill that there's radical. I think it's radical if they completely get rid of it because I do think there's some excusable reasons, even but I think that if you really need to get it done outside of this, is just my personal view, outside of like a birth control reason, then and it's more medical or it has something to do with the fact of something of someone taking advantage of you, then yes, there should be like some kind of loophole or something like that. But the way she expressed it was as if women are in this patriarchal society. It's just like they're taking away all the woman's ability to like protect themselves, basically. Right. I don't know. It's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean it's left to the states. There are some states that have abortions that are banned with no exceptions, like South Dakota. Like abortion is banned with no exception for rape or incest. And then there's some states that have banned with exception for rape and incest. I think Texas is abortion is banned with no exceptions for rape or incest. So, but however, I mean, there's other things like, I don't know how, well, I would say that the Plan B, I don't know how that plays a part. Because I think that Plan B is a form of abortion if you're pregnant, obviously. But it's right after you have unprotected sex that I think you're taking it within 24 hours. But anyway, but yeah, there's some that have limited exceptions and other states that have no exceptions.
Alrighty.
And then some legal with like a limit of like 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. So.
All right, let's go ahead and continue. Let's see what else she has to say.
Take your old weenie out and put it up here and let me whack on it.
My wife wants me to get a vasectomy, so I'm down for
it. So that's number one. And so, but we have been programmed and conditioned and raised where our feminine power and our presence as females is dishonored, disregarded, disrespected, just in the world, not just by men. And we've also been taught and trained that our softness is inappropriate, it's dangerous. Our emotions are inappropriate, and nobody wants to be bothered with that. So where do we go with that? How do we know? If a woman knew that her greatest power was silence, that's her greatest power, because then she can hear. But we run our mouth all the time, talking about everything. Stillness. If a woman really understands and knows who she is, she can walk in a room and take control of every man in the room. How she walks, how she sits, how she talks, how she be. We don't know how to be women. We know how to do what women do.
When do you think that was lost?
For Black women?
Of course.
So before she answers DJ Envy question, to a certain extent, she's absolutely correct. Actually, I agree with. Let me not even say that she's correct. I agree with what she said, that a woman's silence, because she can't. You could move a room just by not saying anything. And I don't. And because you have a lot of women that. Somebody. What was that?
No, I wanted you to finish.
Oh, okay, but.
You said something about you can move a room. Go ahead.
Yes, you could move a woman could move a room with just her silence. And I understood what she's saying. She's basically saying, you could come in, you could look good, the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, it speaks volume. And you have a lot of women that speak, and a lot of times they're speaking so much they're not really saying anything. So I understood what she said. Was there anything that you wanted to say, young lady?
Yeah, I think that's a romanticized thought process. So a woman who comes in and moves the room, as many people talk about, it's all sexual, right? So a man is only like, if she looks good and smells good, all that BS is all due to maybe a sexual desire. However, moving a room in business is not through silence. It may be through, I'm going to steal Real's thing that he typed, patience. It might be through strategy. It might be through being more objective versus subjective. It might be other tactical things, but definitely not just coming in and she looks nice and dressed nice and she sits there and all the men are captivated and eating out of the palm of her hands. I don't think so. Not in business. I don't know, maybe in another world somewhere where there's, princesses and you're looking for your mate and you're, maybe that. But when we talk about business, that's a fallacy, and that's not true. Women are celebrated in the workplace for their tenaciousness, their assertiveness, their ability to actually be inclusive, to work egalitarian, and also be just as shrewd and just as I just think she's mixing maybe business and personal, and maybe in your home you should be, for her, it works for her to be more silent. But even as a mother, you don't want your wife to be silent. You want, especially when you're not in the work, in an environment, you're at work and she has to take care of the kids at the PTA meeting, and she has to speak up on behalf of the family. When things are going on in the neighborhood, and she might join whatever neighborhood watch or whatever, and she's representing the family or whatever the case may be. She might need to negotiate or whatever the case may be. I would think that a man would want their woman to be, especially outside of when she has to represent the family when he's not there, to be assertive and not quiet. I think that's some type of romanticized fantasy that just, a princess kind of thing where she's quiet and just pretty and all the guys are hawking at her. That's more of a sexual thing and more of to me, it's not applicable to work. What she's talking about, she said work, said business.
Okay, because I don't think she was talking about business, but okay. But go ahead, Real.
Yeah, I think she probably did. I don't remember if she said business, but if she did, that doesn't make sense because you have to be the complete opposite. You got to be confrontational, disagreeable, assertive, aggressive, hands down, foot down, to achieve a goal in business. So I think that could be the reason why, like I've said before in other panels, that is the mindset behind the career, because it's hard to turn off an ingrained character trait that you developed over years of accomplishing a career. But I will say, being preserved, I think I don't want, if I'm using hypothetically, if I go to some type of event, I don't want my woman to just be sitting there and smiling. I want her to engage but be preserved at the same time. She knows when to have an opinion. She knows how to interact with people. She's social, but she's not she brings grace and she's reserved, things like that. But if she's talking about, I don't know, I felt like she's probably talking about a disagreement or something, or maybe like Tanya did say that. I felt like she kind of was mixing and matching her statement because it doesn't make sense in business, to be honest with you. But yeah, it wouldn't make sense in business, to be honest with you. We want the opposite of that, to be honest with you.
All righty.
I think when she said commands a room, like why would you as a wife need to command a room and have the men eating out your palm of your hands? So that's why I'm putting things like, if you have a man, I don't need to command the room and have men hawking at me and eating out the palm of my hands, unless that's business. Then of course we want to strategize how we can, but how we can get people to, buy into whatever product or whatever services. But if she's talking about being married or being in a relationship and or being even single, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of confused as to how and what she's saying, how women should show up in society.
Okay. Well, let's see. She still has to answer DJ Envy's question. So let's see how she answers this.
Of course, we are in slavery because we had to diminish ourselves and our hearts. Who we were as women became dangerous because we were just raped and violated. We were subject to what anybody else wanted to do with us. We watched our fathers and sons be hung. A woman can survive a rape, but a man can't survive a hanging. So for a mother to watch her son be hung, or her husband or her father, and then have to not be able to say anything. So we lost our voice, we lost our dignity, we lost our majesty, and we lost our medicine. We lost it, and it's those old grandmothers, those old church grandmothers that, made us wear girdles and all of those things, teaching us at the table. I had these aunts, Aunt Lizzie, Aunt Alma, Aunt Dora, Aunt Nancy, and they were cigarette smoking, liquor drinking, card playing women who would get together on Saturday night, and I'm in the corner listening. I learned a lot. Two things I noticed about them. They always wore a skirt. They cussed and they smoked their cigarettes and drank their liquor, but the hoo-ha was connected to the earth. They always wore a skirt. They did not wear pants. And they all knew how to cook. Lizzie did the fish, Nancy did the hog maws, Alma did the this, the that, the other thing, and I learned so much from those women. Where are women sitting around talking today in a way that teaches the young girls,
Social media.
Brothers, that's really a good question, and I'm gonna say this real quick. If you look at a lot of the pictures from 1940, 1950, or 1940 and back, you won't see, you probably won't even see any of the women in any type of pants. In the 1920s, because I looked this up myself, there were women that would get tickets if you were caught wearing pants, or even wearing a man's pants. In America, certain parts of America, you can get a ticket. I think mostly in the South, but you can get a ticket for wearing a woman could get a ticket for wearing a man's pants. So a lot of these traditions have gone away.
I mean, and that's called fashion. Like, there's a few points that she made that doesn't make sense. She talks about slavery, right? And she talks about that we lost our voice and all of this. And we all know the transatlantic slave trade, put us all forcibly, all of us, into slavery, black male and black female, that happened early 1600 centuries. Now we're talking about slavery that ended in the 19th century, and then just completely eliminating the Reconstruction period, the Jim Crow laws, the civil rights marches and civil rights legislation that passed, all of the plethora of women empowerment organization, the feminist movement, all this stuff that happened in between modern day and slavery. You're talking about women we just lost our voices because what? we wore skirts and now we wear pants, or rather, we all endured hardship and crazy, ridiculous pain and suffering in slavery. But when you're talking about the progression of women, we're talking about women who invented great and imaginative things. We're talking about women who have done some amazing things, Black inventors. We're talking about those who invented the patent for folding up the cabinet bed, to the cataract lenses, to now the GPS systems and the algorithms. And like, are we kidding? Are we really going to just completely erase all the things that our ancestors have done, male and female, but she's specifically talking about women, as if we just came from being beaten and raped to nothing now? And secondly, there is a lot of women empowerment organizations globally across the world that empower women. Women and the way we speak to each other is all about women empowerment. Even sometimes men joke like, you guys lie to each other, you're empowering them, you're telling these women they look great and all this. Y'all have your own little qualms with that. But we really preach from the inside out. So for her to act like, where's the women? There's a lot of women empowerment stuff. There's a lot of it. I mean, we got Black women, we got Black Girls Rock, we have anything and everything around celebrating the melanin and skin. We have everything. As far as there's no way a woman can turn somewhere and not find some type of fellowship in another woman, at church, at the job, in her home. I mean, if she has sisters, her friendships, like we preach that. So I can't agree with her. The same way she has aunts that cook hog mogs and stuff. I have aunts, they didn't cook hog mogs, but I have aunts that I looked upon to see how women fellowship amongst each other. I have sisters. I just find this to be so disingenuous, and it actually like backslaps like women, as if like our ancestors did nothing. We just went from being raped to now nothing. This is the worst kind of pick me.
Wow. All righty. Real, was there anything that you wanted to say before I continue?
And by the way, she stated she was a bad mother. In another interview, I don't know if it was this one or another interview, no, it was... she talked about how she was a great father and a bad mom. And from her rhetoric, I could see why she said that.
Well, that was
no relationship to women.
That was another interview, but this was the interview that sparked her to speak for Ebony K. Williams to speak to her. This was the interview, brothers. So, but if you don't have anything, I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Nope. Okay.
Slim, you're probably talking and muted. I don't know.
Oh, did you have anything?
Oh no, y'all said everything. Y'all both said the points that I want to reach on. So yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and continue.
But it's mean. Mm-hmm. It's mean talking. I want you to search social media. I want you to search everywhere and find one place you've ever heard me speak against another Black woman. A woman, period. Mm-hmm. I don't do that.
How about on your show when you called a woman a ghetto gutter rat? Or Snyder, she called a Black woman a gutter snipe or something like that. Yeah, you spoke on your show badly towards Black women. You've yelled at them, you screamed, and you called that lady Neffy a gutter or a ghetto gutter rut or something like that. Yep. And I think she called a woman a Black bitch too.
Well, all righty. Let's go ahead and continue, because it seems like this young lady here has something against Iyanla, but let's go ahead and continue.
With her, So one of the things that I'm doing this year that I prayed about it and I've committed to it, I want to do a rites of passage program for women.
What's that going to look like?
Well, I want women from all over this country, and I know with COVID and money and everything, so we're going to do 9 weeks online, because a woman's training, her development is in alignment with her age. And every age of a woman has a lesson, has a blessing, has a gift, has a grace. Women don't know that. We know as indigenous women, Native American women, some African women. So there's the 20s as a clan. There are some things 20-year-olds need as women to hear, to do, to master, to surrender. There's something 30-year-old women need to grow, to heal, to learn. And if she didn't handle it at 20, now she's got her 20 issues in her 30s. If she doesn't handle it at 30, they're in the 40. That's why you got 50-year-old women walking around acting like they're 30 because they didn't handle their stuff. They didn't learn their lesson. They didn't master their gift. They didn't know their service. So I know those things. I'm old. I know I look good. Go ahead, tell me.
You do look good. Say that every time I see you.
But I'm old.
Now, what about on the other side, when you talk about, women losing, what about men losing masculinity?
Yeah, because I wonder if women have to show up, I guess, as you say, as men in skirts because the men haven't been men.
Well, men were raised by women. Hello? We're all out of order. But I'm not arrogant enough to tell a man how to be a man. I can help you heal. But then what you do with that, that's you on your own. I can tell a woman how to heal. I can tell a woman how to be a woman.
That's real.
Why? Because I was taught. I was trained. What my grandmother and my sister, my aunties taught me 70 years ago, you don't even hear that today.
So, brothers, let me say something, because in the next interview, see, this is the thing. A lot of women, they say things, and I think they should go back and listen to some of the things that they said, because, in another interview, she said that she wasn't a good mother, but she was a great father. So now you have to wonder, what was she taught? See, we've lost a lot of tradition. We've lost a lot of quote unquote culture in America. And now we're just basically just kind of just doing what we want to do. A lot of our parents are not even teaching us how to be adults. They're not teaching men how to be fathers. They're not teaching them how to be husbands. You have some of the mothers that are not teaching these women how to be mothers. I think I said that correctly. Mothers and wives. So, brothers, we've lost a lot. And I've said this before. You have a lot of women that are now being taught to compete. And she's going to speak on that anyway. But you have a lot of women that are being taught to compete with men, which is sad. So now you don't even know how to live with anybody anymore. And there's so much conflict, especially in the so-called black community. So much conflict between men and women. We have these discussions, but what are we doing to fix it? Go ahead, young lady.
So when you say that women were taught to compete with men, by whom and how? Because I'm interested to know who authors this teaching.
Well, what I mean by that, when I say that we're taught, women are taught to go to college. Nothing wrong with that. But some of the basic skills of knowing how to cook, knowing how to clean, and I'm not saying women don't know how to. There are a lot of women that don't know how to pick up after themselves. Yes, there are men. I know there are men that don't know how to pick up after themselves either. But there are women that don't know how to pick up after themselves. There are women that are not that great in the kitchen, and I mean some of them probably can't even boil water. I know a 50-year-old that can't cook. Cannot cook.
So, but when you're saying that we're competing with men, the first thing you said was going to school. And my thing is that we're not going to school necessarily for the same fields that men are going to school. And you have a lot of women that can't cook and they're still married. They happen to still be married, raise families. Like a man doesn't necessarily say, well, you can't cook, so I'm not going to marry you. These aren't reasons why women are not getting married. They're women who graduate or don't end up graduating college because they end up getting pregnant or becoming married or just not finishing college. That isn't necessarily entering in college is not an indication of competing with men, because your jobs are not being taken from you. We didn't see a decrease in men, not, let's say, like, that's what we can focus on, like blue collar work. We don't see a decrease in blue collar work from men because women entered the workforce. So when you say competing, who would be teaching her this? Are you saying like a single mom is telling her daughter that, she's better than a man and, hey, here's how you compete with men? in the workplace? Like, what is, because what I'm fearing is that there's just kind of dangerous rhetoric being repeated, and it's not really happening. It's not really happening. Even with my dad, he never told me to compete with men. He never specified, like, you need to be the best of the best to compete with men. He may have said about, race. He may have made a thing about race, like you have to be the best because we live in, like, because of white supremacy and things of that nature, but never telling me to compete against a black man.
Well, they're not saying that in a sense of compete with men. What I'm saying, Tanya, is you're still going to be competitive when it comes to certain things, whether it's money, whether it could be the job too. But I'm not saying that because I mean, fathers do it to their daughters too. We could just be talking about sports. That you could be competitive just being in sports, but it's a competitiveness. That's why with men and women, it's what's the word? We're whether you believe it or not, we're against each other because one is always trying to top the other. I'm not saying every man is doing that. I'm not saying every woman is doing that, but a lot of us are doing that. Even when we just speak to each other, we're like that. But go ahead, Real.
Well, one of the things I can see why women will say that I feel like it is a programming is because when you say equally yoked, you're talking about financially, and to believe that makes a man and a woman equal is to me, because of my lifestyle and my way of how I handle relationships, I would say that's not how a man and a woman's equally yoked. And I will say that before that, I would say that the imbalance in the home, there's a dynamic, and it's not the best representation for a little girl, especially in a society growing very fast, and the promotion of how of women in society growing up. When you see a lot of movies and it shows a businesswoman doing her thing in a movie, comedies, or the way shows are promoted, the way talk shows at the time of in the 80s and 90s, there's a lot of influences. A lot of during that time, this is what a lot of millennials said. The parents were at home; they was being taught to experience their feelings from the idea of what they saw on shows and music and their friends and the kid that knew too much and said things, and it was just and sometimes I think even on a panel I had, Texas T said she didn't like how it looked seeing her mother being a traditional woman. She said that that's why she became a businesswoman. So I just think that they may have gave her a bad representation. It probably just looked one-sided. There was no explanation. There was no talks. There was nothing to give them guidance and of importance. So it's a lot of things that, especially with young women, I think that they should be taught how to love themselves and how to identify with their emotions, and most of the time they're not. So you get this.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna err, just me being the only woman on this panel, that women are taught to see each other as rivals, not men. When we compete, we may go into a workplace and try to find similarities within other women, but ultimately we're in competition with each other, be it for promotions in the corporate world, be it for whatever in the personal world, the man. But even when some things that we do as far as dress and makeup and how we wear our hair and things of that nature, there's a less push between competing against men because we see each other as so different. I mean, we communicate differently. We understand that. And so there's more of a competition amongst other women than a woman to man. And that's in personal life and also business. I think that is just a fallacy that's pushed by certain Black men, that Black women want to compete, And I don't think that has any credibility at all to it. We compete with each other before we compete with the man.
Okay. All right.
Let me ask something. Let me ask you a question, Tanya. Do you think disengaging a fraction of your life to pursue a career is competing?
No, I think that that's how you're raised. So what you find that's important to you, for instance, you guys might see it as competition because, I am like, a man might see me as a competition because I am all these other things that he is. He could be assertive. He can know how to enunciate his words, show up to work, blah, 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 not emotional in the workplace, da, da, da. He sees me as competition. I don't see him as competition. But I see what I've been socially programmed to compare myself to: my grades, my clothes, my handbags, my hair, my homes, my body, to a woman. I never, even as a woman who competes in the workplace, I don't go in seeing, oh, he's my competition. I got to knock him out. I got to do this. I got to do that. I see that they're going to pit, especially if there's other Black women, against each other. And I also see a real competition if there's a white woman of a certain stature and look as looking at me as her competition, for sure. The man is actually becomes the ally.
I just wanted it to be a quick response, but that's a good example. So if you're saying that your pursuit of why you got a career was for other reasons, and men across the board, as far as the average Joe, is saying that's what it looks like, and you said that, well, if he's assertive, if he's characteristically seeing something that mimics him, to him that may be competition. By her, that's what she believed she had to be. If the country is male dominated and men are saying, well, that is what we confirm as competition, why won't women accept when we're the ones that are put on the chopping block as far as leadership? We're saying, hey, this looks like competition, because it's not like I think that with you, it's not, I can say a lot of men feel that way, but I can agree with the fact that, yeah, you probably went into the game for your own personal reasons, but then you'll still say, well, I need a man that's like, not you. Well, I'll say women in careers will say equally yoked mean financially. I need a man that's going to understand my lifestyle. I need a man this, and I think most women that earned and accomplished a lot, which I don't blame, which I don't have no issue with that, I don't think they look at men making less than them as a peer, put it that way. Now, I'm not saying that, that you should lower your standards at all. I'm not telling women to do that. I'm just saying that it would to men look like a competitive way, because y'all have a rhetoric behind it. Not you, but a lot of women will have a rhetoric behind their success.
I think it makes you guys have to work harder. It does something to your ego, like to see if a woman supersedes you. Every man that had an issue with me.
Say men's ego, not my ego.
Well, their ego, my bad. So like every man that had an issue with me and I had to ask him, like, yo, why do you treat me like this? Like I thought we were friends. It's them. They would admit to it. I see you as this. It's never me. So the language has to change. The language has to be that men see women as competition when they enter into the workplace and they are able to compete, right? There has to be you all saying that. I'm not going to take ownership of me looking at you guys as You're blaming me for looking at you as competition. I'm looking at you as an ally. I'm saying, well, this is great. I know for a fact I don't have to deal with this man going to HR about me and saying that I hurt their feelings. I have to actually tend to the feelings of these women who I might come off as harsh or whatever. So I'm trying to figure out ways to talk to them and da 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 da. I'm never looking at them as, oh, he's the competition. So the language has to change. You guys have to say, you look at women who enter in the workforce who are able to compete with you all as competition. You can't put that on us. You can't.
Well, I don't see women as no competition. So I'm just saying the majority. I'm not the majority. I'm the minority.
All righty. So let's go ahead. Well, let's not. So we good? Because I'm about to continue. Let's get to it.
You don't hear about it. I don't know what. So my thing is, I want to share this medicine, this information, this knowledge. So the way it's formulating in my mind right now, and the way my team and I are putting it together, we're going to do 9 weeks online where the women work in their clans, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then we're going to come together for the ceremony, ritual, and initiation. Because there's initiations that women need. You know, men get circumcised. Women do something else. And so many of us didn't get it. You know, in some traditions like the bar mitzvah or the bat mitzvah in the Jewish tradition, and some people do rites of passage for their 13, 16-year-old. But what about all of the women that didn't have any of that?
That's real.
They weren't barred or batted and no rights. So I don't, we're all out of order. But we as the women in this time have the power to bring it all together. Didn't your wife get you straight?
Absolutely.
Did your wife get you straight?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah? Why? Because she was standing in her presence as a woman. Had your best interest at heart.
Correct.
It's going to support you back into wholeness, not compete with you and not beat you down. And so more of us have to do that. So
I got you, Tanya. Go ahead.
Okay, so she's talking about their wives got them straight when they cheated on their wives, right? We got to put things in order, right? It'd be one thing if she's talking about, did your wife get you straight like when you were working so hard on the, you know, and you didn't come home some nights because you were working on this project to get this, and she held you down. That's different from a woman getting you straight, quote unquote, for infidelities. And walking out on your family. Like, come on. Are you kidding me? And then we don't even know if they really fought. She's talking about them. They didn't beat you down. You don't know if Envy's wife cussed him out and called him for filth. He's not telling you that. You don't know if Charlemagne's wife did that. And even if they did do that, rightfully so. Like, come on. Like, we're talking about, you're not even talking about positive, like a positive situation where a wife held the husband down despite that he might had to like make some huge sacrifice with being like time with the family members or time with the kids or something like that. And she just rocked with him and explained to the kids that he had to work and do these things to make these sacrifices for us. That to me would be that she held you down. She's specifically speaking about their infidelities. Come on.
So
what I will say is, at least I'm not sure about Charlemagne, but we know that DJ Envy, that dude was scared to death when he got caught up about him cheating. That dude did a whole cheat-a-thon. I mean, not cheat-a-thon. He did a no cheating marathon or something like that. He went around parts of the United States doing that. So I don't know about Charlemagne. I know Charlemagne's already admitted that he slept around on his wife, but yeah, DJ Envy was scared as hell. But it is what it is. Go ahead, Real.
His wife ended up cheating back, and that's why I don't know if you remember. He talks about how his wife cheated back, and talked about how the guy was more enhanced than he was, and he said that affected him for like almost a decade, to the point where he started taking enhancements.
That's right. The book.
Remember that?
That's when they wrote. I think that's when his wife wrote the book or something. You're right. You're right. I forgot all about that.
That's crazy.
I remember. So that's her holding him down.
No. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, but I do remember that. I remember that because they wrote a book about that.
I keep forgetting they both cheated on their like. You can see the way men take that situation. Because DJ Envy did go on the tour, and then he was trying to be that guy that said, "Hey, don't do that to other men." That's what I thought was just kind of crazy, like how he was.
And remember, he also said something about his like not being well endowed, and she faked orgasms for 10 or 15 years or something like that. Like
she
this
did.
Is,
that was crazy too.
He was a mess.
That was all in the book.
Look, I don't know what's going on with those two guys. Those two guys are characters, man. Those two guys are characters.
Yeah, but you know what? But Tanya, I will say that because we're not sure that it maybe that's what she's talking about. We're not 100% sure that she's saying, "Oh, your wives got you straight," because they both stepped out on both they both stepped out on their wives. I don't. We can't really be sure that's exactly what she's talking about. But if it is, we'll just stick with that. But let's go ahead and continue.
Our sons and our brothers and husbands, and I'll confess, I used to be one of those women that beat men down with my mouth and my mind. And I heard myself one day say, men are so stupid. And I said, wait a minute, hold up. Is your son stupid?
Mm.
Is your father stupid? Is your brother stupid? And I had to check myself. And that's when I really went on this quest to look at myself as a woman, my power, my majesty. If you said to a woman, show me your majesty, what's that? Show me your divinity. And who's going to do it?
Mm.
That would be me.
Mm-hmm. you made me think about something because, I thought about this like when I saw like a documentary that said, I think it was called the title, What is a Woman? And it talked about identity and, biological born males who identify as women. What do you feel about that?
I don't think I feel anything because everybody has their lesson and everybody has a right to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't judge because I don't know. I've never had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I was born with a hoo-ha. I love my hoo-ha. We're friends. The hoo-ha, yes. So I don't know in this body what it would feel like to me if I wanted to be a man. I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I can't speak to that. And I certainly can't judge it. And I don't have that experience, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, brothers. The only reason why they're in the public eye, so they really can't. My apologies. I got it. Let me tell you something, brothers. The only reason why she's not going to speak on it is because she's in the public eye. Now, I'm not sure. I don't think she's doing any more TV shows. I don't even know what's going on with this little thing that she said that she's going to be doing to help women on the side, because we in 2024. I ain't seen nothing come up. But because they're in the public eye, and that's all of them, they can only say certain things because they don't want to get themselves shut down or blasted on the internet. That's why they're not really, because if they could speak on it and have no repercussions, it'd be a lot of people that would be upset at what they really had to say. But it is what it is. Go ahead, Tanya.
I think she's old, and so she doesn't know much about it. This is where I do think she's being authentic and saying I don't think she knows about it. If you ask old people, they don't know. She's like 60-something years old, right?
50.
Because I think a lot of Black women who are on younger, our age or whatever, they actually do talk about it and what they feel, for sure. They're even on public. I mean, one is Amanda Seales, who talked about, definitely went in on Caitlyn Jenner, aka Bruce Jenner. So I just think she doesn't know. I honestly think she's old. Okay. Like, I think if you ask Oprah wouldn't know. And I think that they probably get I do think they probably, if they have a younger PR person, so she's 70 years old. Come on now. So I think that she probably gets prepped by her PR people, and she just don't know what they talking about, and she probably doesn't want to repeat what they tell her to say. So she just is like, I don't think she knows.
Okay, well, we will go with that, but I'm just gonna
Did I say Bruce Lee? I meant Bruce Jenner. My bad. If I said Bruce Lee, my bad.
Well, yeah, that could be it. What Tanya said, I just believe that because she's in the public eye, she doesn't want to say anything but again, I don't think she's doing any other TV shows that I know of. So, but let's go ahead and continue.
Yeah, I'd always wonder what does that do for people's ultimate perception of women. Like I hear women saying, "Well, I'm a biological woman." Like it's just you know.
I don't speak that way because I'm old.
You know what you know.
I just know what I know. You know, I'm sorry. You know, and I listen to the young people, and I want to be, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know,
that's when the silence comes into play.
Yeah, that's when I just shut the hell up. Excuse me, everybody.
It's okay.
Auntie said a bad word.
It's all right.
But you know, here's the piece that I don't understand. I don't understand it. So I don't have no heat or no judgment. But I've never run around talking about me being a heterosexual. Never. I just, you know, I'm strictly dickly, been that way all my life. I guess it was just natural, you know. But I've never run around talking about that. So I'm trying to adjust to all of this conversation in the world about your sexual preference or your body parts. I just don't understand that. And for me, where I come from, nothing is private anymore.
Right.
Nothing. Everything is on the
social media, internet.
Everything. Nothing is private. What happened to privacy? Where is it? So what that does is it strips us of a level of dignity, I think, or where everything is just okay. I don't understand it. But, you know, so I just watch.
Now, for couples that fight a lot, you know, a lot of times couples get into a lot of different things. What are some things that you would advise them to do so they can get out of that phase?
Tell the truth.
That might lead to a fight.
That's where it started.
There's some hidden hurts, unspoken hurts that lead to that. Fighting is not bad. I'd rather have a couple fight than for them to be indifferent. If they're indifferent and whatever you do, fine, shut up, you know, I don't care. That's when you're in trouble. But if you can fight fair, you good. So there's a truth that you have to tell, and there's a power struggle. There's a struggle for power and control. And if you're really fighting bad, you need outside intervention because you cannot clear an upset with the object of your upset. Understand? So I'm mad at you. You the object of my upset. And now you and me trying to clear the upset, we're just going to whip ourselves around in circles. You need a neutral third party to come in and help you a different perspective.
Gotcha.
The other thing is to figure out, here are the 4 questions that I think every relationship needs to ask, everybody in a relationship. Is this an important relationship in my life? Because sometimes Boo Boo and Kafada are fighting and they don't even care. I mean, just because you here right now, you the one for right now. Is this an important relationship in my life? That's the first question. And the second question you have to ask yourself is, do I value this person? And do they value me? You can tell that from behavior. The third question is, am I willing to take 100% responsibility for the state of this relationship? Meaning, I can't change you, I can't fix you, but the state that it's in, the arguing, the lack of support, the adversarial, whatever it is, am I willing to take 100% responsibility, which means, am I willing to look at what I do? Now,
you know, that's one of the hardest things for people to do is take 100% of the responsibility, because we're always going to blame each other for why the relationship failed or why something happened that didn't go the way it should have. Nobody really wants to take responsibility. I was going to do the gender thing, but I chose not to. So, yes, young lady.
I actually think so if I look at like my relationships or just relationships with friends, family, and I haven't had an argument with my man yet. So, but let's just say like everything that people complain about might be true, but everything that I complain about is true as well. Because I think two things are happening at the same time in these relationships. Unless somebody is just like a all out like dickhead or something like that. I think that both parties have a fair assessment of what's happening. But it's a cause and effect. And I think, I think she's right that if everybody accepts responsibility or accountability for the role that they play, then I agree with her. Like if each person says, well, this is what I do, I can recognize I do that. And this another person says, well, I can recognize I do that, male or female. Then yeah, that's where the healing starts. But I think that two things could be happening at the same time, though. I do think that men, if a woman's complaining about, oh, you're never here, it might be true. But it also might be true that, hey, I'm working and I'm making sacrifices. Both could be true. So now that we know that both are true, like, how do we move forward? So I'm in the minds of thinking that both criticisms could be happening at the same time and be very true.
Interesting.
Let me crack my knuckles for this one. This is crazy that we still have to say this in 2024. There is a standard of healthy. And though true things may be true, not when we talk about a healthy relationship. So if one is coming from the perspective of trauma or not understanding how to be in a relationship or something like that, and one's trying to condition the standard from a healthy standpoint, or it's not gender specific. I don't think it is. I think it's just associated with healthy versus not healthy. So if the problem about time would have to be something said at the beginning, because if you're dating somebody, if you're consistently having conversations on a healthy level, not every day, not drilling one another, then I think that she won't ever come to you and say you work too much. Healthy is precautionary. And no one's perfect. Someone's going to have an issue, but we should never treat the unhealthy exploitations of one another as, oh, we're both right with how we feel. No, because if the feeling's unhealthy and it comes from an unhealthy place, it's not something applicable to a problem. It's something that needs to be corrected, period. It needs to be something that, hey, you need to say, well, why do I feel like this is something healthy in a relationship when I have a problem? I think we're accepting conflicts from unhealthy standpoints. And I think that we shouldn't do that. We should know what's healthy and what's not healthy. And it's not healthy for a man to get on a woman about something she probably talked about at the beginning, as far as a healthy decision she made for herself, and the same thing that goes for a man. If I don't ever want to come home and be addressed about how much I work. That's whether, well, if that he's the type of guy that understands that he has to communicate that, why should we have a conversation about it?
So again, feelings are not, I mean, that sounds great. All of that in theory is very idealistic.
Talking.
Oh, I didn't hear you speaking.
Oh, my fault. I was looking at something. I never said right and wrong through the whole my whole statement. I said healthy versus unhealthy. See, that takes out right and wrong. I always say take out right and wrong in these relationship discussions, because we don't want to think about who's right and wrong in a relationship. We need to think about what's best and what's healthiest for the relationship. And that's the problem right there. When men make statements about the objective standard, I think the woman kind of hears right and wrong rather than, hey, is this healthy or is it not healthy? I think we need to take that out the vocabulary of relationships. Take out, hey, I don't, you're wrong. And no, hey, your behavior, change these words around so she doesn't feel like she's, and I think that is on the fault of whoever's doing it. So if he is making you feel like you're wrong, she has every right to have animosity, because you shouldn't treat it like right and wrong. But yeah, I'm finished now. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, it sounds idealistic, but when you're dealing with people's feelings, you can't. There's some people that probably don't want to feel the way that they feel. Some people might suppress their own feelings because they don't want to enter into uncharted, uncomfortable territories where it's like, oh, well, we discussed this. But even if you discussed it, so what? Like, people still have feelings. Things have changed. Maybe a child is now in play. Maybe they need the extra help. Maybe, whatever the case may be, whatever example I come up with, yeah, there's a standard that should be at play, but we're not robots. So a woman might still feel like, dang, it's been night 5 and there's no sex, there's no nothing. He's working. And yes, I agreed to this a year ago, but it feels lonely. So, and he's not budging on allowing me to have a social life or whatever the case may be. It could be anything that's causing someone to feel some way. Now, the feelings are not, they may not be healthy feelings. They may be from a negative, her feeling negative, but at the end of the day, or him feeling negative. I mean, whatever, he could feel insecure about whatever the case may be, like that she's doing some things that he may feel insecure about. All I'm stating is that both things could be valid, but you can't invalidate a feeling and just say, well, that's not healthy. We talked about it, a year ago, and that's just what it is. Because then it's like, okay, well, she still feels like this. It's like, so what do you do? I think that's why I said two things could be happening. I can't say to like people that say that I'm insensitive. I can't say, well, you're just so hypersensitive. And what I said was true. It's like, well, do I want to like alienate people and say, okay, well, everybody feels I'm insensitive and they don't want to talk to me about certain things, or I hurt their feelings, or I crushed them, and I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. Y'all knew how I was, and I'm going to tell you no. If I care about these people, I want to sit down and actually, how can we come to a level of me understanding you and how to communicate with you effectively, and you understanding me and how you can communicate to me effectively. I just think it has to be, you're going to have to take the extra step when feelings are involved. And if you really care and love a person, it's idealistically, it makes sense that we talked about this and I should be okay with it. But honestly, feelings do arrive, and it's like, what happens? Should we just suppress them?
Alrighty. Well, did you want to respond to that, Real, or no?
I think you should be aware that some of your feelings may be unhealthy, and you should suppress it if you know it's going to be, if your unhealthy characteristics cause arguments. Yeah, you should. But I agree that if the workload of a man was communicated and was just say, you with the sex and the time, yeah, that's different. But we're talking about like the fact that, yeah, I don't think all feelings should be validated. Like, I think that's crazy to know that if some of them are just insecurity or an unhealthy characteristic built and framed in their minds to have an issue for something that's not even a problem. I think, yeah, she should be able to talk about it, but she shouldn't confront the problem like it's valid because it's her emotions. That's just crazy.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and continue.
Not what you do. What am I doing? And what's motivating me? Mm-hmm. And the final question is, am I willing to do the work to heal it no matter what the other person does?
Ooh.
And that's the big one.
Ooh. What's the answer to that question most of the time? Are people willing to do the work?
They're drooling at me from the first question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this an important relationship in my life? Well, yeah, it's important to me. That's my wife. That's my husband. Why is it important to you? Why is it important?
Outside of
that's
the title.
When they can't answer. Mm-hmm. Or do you value this person? Do you feel valued by this person? It usually breaks down right up in there. Mm-hmm. And then when you get to 100% responsibility, each one can tell you what the other one did or didn't do or isn't doing or what they like or don't like, but they're not willing to take 100% responsibility. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, relationships are big.
You said you're single by choice. Has it been difficult for you throughout the years just because you are who you are and people feel like they might have to have have it all together before they step to you, or be close to healed to step to you?
So, brothers, before she answers that question, let me tell you something about this single by choice. And yes, I'm about to bring this. It's going to be a gender thing. A lot of women that say that they're single by choice is because the man that they want doesn't want them. They're trying to get that man that's probably not noticing them. So a lot of women who claim that they don't settle, they usually settle for what they can get. So that's single by choice. She's went through a lot, because I think she's been married twice, because I think one of her husbands passed away, I believe. So she's been married twice. So with that being said, brothers, not everybody's single by choice, whether they believe it or not. Again, it's the reason why these women say that they're single by choice, because the man that they want is not paying them any mind. But go ahead, Tanya.
You just say the most craziest thing.
Thank you.
Because the man they want isn't paying them any mind. Like, here's the thing. I think women who are on a large platform, who are confident and stuff, and they're not single by choice, they make themselves available. You see it all the time, because we know that's the only way you're gonna find a man. So if this didn't work out for me, and I went on national television, I'm going to definitely say, hey, I'm looking, I'm free, I'm focusing on my life now, my personal life, because I know I'm going to be flooded with opportunities. There's no way that if you're a woman who's confident, you get on a platform. You can see most of these women say that. They'll get on platforms and say, well, I'm available, or they'll say I believe that they are single by choice. Some of them want to be off the market. They will literally be like, oh, hell no, I'm not trying to be with da-da-da, or I just got out of marriage, I'm trying to be they really are honest, I think. I think she is 70 years old. like Martha Stewart is 70-something years old, and she talk about having her little one night stands and stuff, and she doesn't want to be in an actual relationship, but she have her little boy toys on the side and stuff, which I think is pretty interesting. But I think we have to take her age in consideration and say that she has her husband passed. She has a nice little, what is it called? Whatever, not inheritance, but whatever it's called, a settlement or whatever from her relationship. And I think she's probably on that Martha Stewart thing. Like, she is probably like, I got my little toys on the side, and she probably doesn't want to be married. I don't think it has anything to do with lying about her not finding the man that wants her. I don't think everything's negative that comes out our mouths, Master Slim or Elder Slim.
I just don't believe nobody is single by choice. I think that even when a man says that he's choosing to be single, or I think that he knows if you have to work on something that prohibits you to be your full self as a man, which would probably be more on the financial and goal orientated status. And if a woman's not, I do think that, because it's very easy for a woman to get the intention and the sex of man. But I think sometimes when they think about the longevity and companionship, that's hard. I do. So I don't think nobody, because when you say single by choice, that means you have a choice that you could get exactly what you want, but you're saying, nah, I don't want that. I'd rather just be single. That don't even make sense. Because if everybody can get somebody that they literally wanted from head to toe, and they knocked on that door, God sent, they're going to take it. That's a guarantee. But that's all.
Yeah, but sometimes that might not be realistic either. I mean, that could be also a thing where you have these high standards and you haven't met that man. That means you're single by choice, because you are choosing not to date somebody that actually might be okay for you. That goes for male and female. It's just that you have these high standards that you're never going to meet that person because they don't exist. So
yeah, I Slim said that though. Slim said that the women that want these type of men don't want them. That he was implying that these women have such high standards.
No, he didn't say that though. He said that these men don't pay them no attention. The men that they want. I'm saying they don't exist. He's saying they exist. They don't pay these women no attention.
So
I'm saying they don't exist.
So what you saying
they
that
do exist? They just don't want them.
So what you're saying? So even
y'all are so negative.
So wait. So even so when you said that they don't exist, that means that y'all have a very imaginary mind because y'all.
I think that some people do. I think some people want. Okay, this man can't do this. He got to do this. He got to do that. How do you expect a man? Some women say, "Oh, we want a man that makes well over 6 figures. He owns his own businesses, this and this, but then he's always home every night." Like that might not be possible, depending upon like it might not just be possible. Okay. So
yeah, so but that man exists though. He does exist though. Do you think that man? Hold on, but let me ask you that because I'm glad. Do you think the man that a woman desires would look at her as the standard of woman that he would want? Because you know that person has a mind, body, and soul too. And I think most of the time when women are able to even have to get in the presence of some of these guys that they would never have a chance with, those guys have standards too.
The hell up.
Oh my goodness! Here we go.
Well, no, not healed. I ain't healed, Charlamagne.
I'm crazy. I want to say close to. None of us are ever really, I don't think.
I just wear it well. The thing is, I'm crazy and I know it. Most people are crazy and they deny it. And that's what gets them in trouble. Know you're crazy. Give it a name. Train it. Okay? Don't just let it run amok. But I think most brothers are afraid to approach me for whatever reason. White men are not at all. They roll up nice.
I feel like young men would be trying to holler at you.
Oh, in the gas station, the man told me he loved me. He said, I said, are you flirting with me? He said, yes, I like older women. I said, do you know they can give you worms? I you know, it might be good for, because I have some really good girlfriends that their husbands are not men of color. I just don't grow that way. I don't. But it's always interesting to me. And they always want to know what you do and where you've been and if you like to travel and all of that. And I'm really very nice to them.
What do you think about people who are into like the polygamy nowadays? Those relationships where
well, see, I'm old, so I could do polygamy. I would just want her to be younger so he don't have to be bothering me all the time. Go over there. She's 42.
Brother, before she gets into polygamy, let me tell you something. It's not really going to work very well here in America because women in general have a very jealous, they're very jealous. And most women want to be number one. Now, you heard what she said, where she said that she has to have a problem with it because she's old. But at the same time, women are not, here in America, a lot of women are not ready for that. But she's going to say something where she's going to probably say that she doesn't really have too much of a problem with it. And maybe she might even say that there are some women that should look into it. But there's going to be a reason for that. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with this.
I'm 70. Go on, take your butt on over there.
You can do that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
You joking or are you serious?
What do you think the benefits could be?
I'm very serious.
Really?
Yeah, I could do that. When I was younger, I couldn't because I didn't know who I was. And I didn't understand the value and the purpose of a relationship. So when I was younger, I didn't do cheating. But I could do polygamy. I could be one of other wives in this day and age.
Really?
I couldn't have done that when I was 30 or 40. I didn't. I ended up marrying a man who was a polygamist. My second husband came out of a polygamous relationship. And at that time, I thought, you're cheating. I still don't do cheating. If we're going to do that, it has to be an open conversation and agreement. But you sneaking around the corner with, Chris D'Amata, no, I don't do cheating. Because you know why? It's dishonest.
I agree.
And if you're going to lie to me, then I can't trust you. But if we sit down and this is what we want to do, I like it because you be over there sometime, I be over here, I don't have to cook, I save my toilet paper, you don't have to, my toothpaste, go on, have you. And I don't think we can tell people who they can and cannot love. If I love you and you're saying this is what you need to support, satisfy yourself, why would I say no to that? Because I know who I am as a woman. And I don't know if it's possible for one person to satisfy every need another person has. And if the other person is willing to say, well, this is what you give me, I'm willing to set, that's fine. But if we're together and I'm not living up to everything you need, and that's what you need to take care of yourself. I know most Western women are hearing me now, and they are like, she done lost her rabbit.
Oh, yeah, they ain't ready for this conversation. You give me
No,
this
but
morning.
it's true.
I'm about to subscribe to the R Spot.
But hear me.
I see you, Tanya. Hold on one second, because I want to let her finish what she's going to say. Hold on.
When you consider the number of men of color who are incarcerated, when you consider the number of men of color, young men of color, who've died of violence, there's just not enough of y'all.
Go ahead, Tanya.
Yeah, this is funny because y'all were just saying women said that, and look at your goddess saying that.
Wait, Tanya.
What I was going to say.
Saying what? No, go ahead. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Saying that stuff that yeah, I was going to say, saying that, oh, these men are in jail and all this stuff, the stuff that the guy was debunking. Well, this lady is saying that. That's crazy. Because it's not true.
No,
but what I was going to say.
Wait, hold up, Tanya. She's only speaking on black men and women. She's not talking about the whole race. I mean, the whole human race in the United States. Now, go ahead.
Yeah,
and
black men and women was what was debunked today. That saying black men are in jail and incarcerated and all that. It's a very low percentage.
Yeah, it's 600. It's 600,000 black men and women. So it's more. It's like I think it's more black men incarcerated, but it's altogether, Slim, is 1.9 million. But just black men and women is only 670,000 people, and we have over 20 million black men, and I think it was 22. So what she's saying is it's not even. It's less than 1 million black men and women in jail. How could we be losing black men? He has another video when he talks about gay men too, how many gay men there is. It's less than 2 million gay men, but we have to consider DL niggas, but it's not going to be that much more. But if you want to add DL niggas, let's just say it's 25, we'll say it's 2.5 million. That's still significantly a small amount of men.
Yeah, there's more gay women than men, black. And so if you're a heterosexual woman, you have a better chance at finding a mate. It's actually the ratio to heterosexual women to men is more men available, heterosexual men available, black men. So, I mean, I've done all that. I did all the statistics, all of that to the bare bones. So anyway, well, never mind about Polly, because like it kind of took us off track.
Well, let me say this, because even though she broke down the part about the homosexuality and the people in prison, I don't even know if she even said, she probably did say homosexuality too. You have to think about.
No, she didn't mention it.
Okay, so I apologize. So let me just say this. You already have women that have a standard of what type of man they want. So now we already know that women don't really, there are some women that don't want to deal with thugs, even though most of y'all are attracted to chaos anyway. But let me say this. If you start breaking down what women really want, y'all really not going to find what y'all want at all. So I understand what she's saying in this polygamous thing. Now, I am for it, but at the same time, I don't want to do it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I just don't want to do it because I don't want all that headache. I've already said it before. The Most High has to send the two or three women for me, because I'm not picking y'all like that. I ain't picking multiple women because I don't feel like dealing with that.
You can't have. You're so negative towards black women. Like,
oh my goodness,
you have a negative perspective of black women. It's like even if there's black men
muted. You are about to get muted.
the truth. It's like we showed that okay,
Oh my
there's some availability
goodness.
for men to women,
She
and
can
then you're like,
she
well,
always want to
even
debate.
so, you
Why
women
do
are
you
so
always want to
this and that.
debate? Just know that this is being recorded. So just know that.
Yeah, I'm not debating. I'm stating that there's
Slim,
this
it wasn't.
negativity.
Oh my goodness.
Slim, it wasn't even like what I said 5 words and Tanya interrupted me the first time I had something to say. Just
I
like
swear
Tanya is
she
like
cannot
already.
hold back at all. She can't.
You don't remember that,
What
Tanya?
are
Because
you
you threw me a
talking about?
rose.
You
You
guys
threw me a
are
rose
nuts.
at
Tanya,
the beginning. Okay, so this is crazy because you
I
threw me a
thought
rose and
because what happened
apologized.
was I thought that you
This is
were yeah
crazy.
because I thought you were done.
you thought I was
You thought I
done?
Remember
was
you said
done
no, I
literally.
was reading. No,
No, that
real
was the
was
second
Oh,
reading
time,
was
Tanya. We're talking about the very
okay.
beginning when I started talking about.
Not
okay.
that
Let's
you said.
continue, guys.
Oh, this is
All
I'm
right.
crazy.
So
battered.
again,
I'm not.
as I was saying, I don't have a problem with polygamy and the way the world. I don't listen. I do think that a man should have. There's nothing wrong with a man having more than one woman, but as long as you have your stuff together. But it's not really going to work too well here in the United States because we're so used to one man, one woman. And because of the jealousy of women, it will never work because most women can't even get along with each other. That's a fact. Y'all can't even get along with each other. And
Why,
and
but
It
why do
will
you
never
think
work
that
with no
only?
man or
oh
no
my
woman because
goodness.
men are territorial and men can't make it work. It can't work polyandry for black men or for black men to have or women to have multiple husbands either. Like this is maybe it's because it's not like you said. Maybe it isn't a jealousy thing. It is a thing about culturally. Because even some that actually do participate in it culturally, there's the first wife syndrome. There's a lot of things that go on that they don't talk about that it's just not fair to say that black women can't do it because we're jealous when even people who participate in it and was culturally programmed to participate in it still deal with jealousy,
I
still
was
deal with the first wife syndrome. These
oh
are
my
real issues
goodness.
that happen
I
amongst
was,
women and men.
you know, I know that you want to get at me so bad, Tane, like you want to just, like I was going to say some of the stuff that you said, but it just seemed like you want to be so
Yeah, I agree.
argumentative. My goodness.
Yeah, I agree with Tanya, but it just goes to show that there's going to be a lot of monogamy. There's a ton of bad examples of monogamy. And so I think even in polygamy, because you are groomed to be monogamous, and there's more examples of what the unhealthy side. So I think even in polygamy, I think you're going to see some bad examples of the relationship. So I agree, both will have bad examples. There's no perfect relationship type. There's no absolutes. I don't believe in absolutes. We're not going to see no type of relationship in history where it just always worked for everybody. It's just not going to happen. So when y'all try to make the point that polygamy doesn't work out either, yeah, it does. Nothing really has a 100% success rate. Nothing in the world but numbers. That's it.
Tanya, is there anything else you want to say before you cut out? Because I don't have nothing else to say because I know you're going to ready to cut me off. Anything else that you would like to put out there, Tanya?
No, like why is when I state my opinion, it's being argumentative?
Because
I don't understand it.
I'm actually speaking because I don't cut nobody off. I'm speaking and then it's like you just gotta just like jump in before I even finish what I have to say. But I know you're gonna be like, I thought you was finished. No, Elder Slim wasn't finished. I'm
Yeah,
not.
she does that a lot.
You know what I'm saying? Relax, Tanya.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm already done.
No, I'm gonna say this, Tanya. The reason why we know you're gonna do it because in the comments you're like riling yourself up because you're here to say, oh, you're negative, you're talking down on women. This is nuts, and then I can hear it in your like energy, like you're just ready to debate. Look at it, look. She's in the comments. Look.
And even to even say, oh, you just
It
don't.
sounds like a bunch of deflection,
Oh my goodness! And then you
but
got this one
yeah.
here.
So black women are not the only ones that can be territorial and jealous. That was the point.
Did I say anything? Did I say black women? Did I say that?
We just pointed it out.
So I just wanted to say that you were blaming women for not being able to date and be in a polygamous relationship in the United States. But isn't the men the ones who are leading that though? Like when we are starting to date, we're dating them. They're saying they're monogamous, right? They're not saying that, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing, this and that, so that we are able to choose and say, if we're interested in that or we've never heard of that before. So what does that, entails and things like that, right? So I don't understand why you don't see it from that point of view.
Phoenix, let me ask you something. Did you hear when I said
I
that?
can't type in the comments no more.
Phoenix, I didn't mute you. I didn't mute you in the comments.
No, Bigo muted me and said I had hate crime or something.
Oh, so Phoenix, did you hear the part where I said that brothers need to get their shit together before they get into a polygamy, even before they even try to have more than one woman? Did you hear me not say that?
That has nothing to do with what I'm referring
But
to.
I'm asking you the question. That's just a yes or no answer.
I did hear that.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So I always here's the thing. I do put the onus on men first, but I'm going to state things that is the truth. A lot of women do not get along with each other. That's a true statement. A lot of women in the Western culture, women in general are going to be jealous.
I don't know where you get that from, though, Slim, because I am a woman.
Oh,
and I can say that I have many women. No, I'm saying as far as you said, getting along with other women. I get along with many women from different cultures.
No.
I have different women friends from different cultures and everything.
I'm talking about
everything, and I don't understand why you don't think
Black women do
why
not
you
get along
can't
with
just
each other.
convert
Tanya
to.
said it earlier.
I don't understand.
Leave me out of
You
it.
know what?
No, I didn't.
Phoenix, let me ask you this question real quick.
I can't even do no crying, no nothing.
Hold on, Tanya. Phoenix, are you okay with your husband? Because you are married. Are you okay with your husband finding another wife? Yes or no?
That's not a question you need to ask when you didn't answer my question, sir.
You didn't. You know what, man? I'm not about to go back and forth with you. You know what I'm saying? I know what you tried. What was your question anyway? Go ahead. What's your question?
So you never listened to me when I came on the panel, sir? That's not what my question was?
Can you ask your question, please?
Yo, Bucket, that's funny. Sorry, I can't even type or do anything. Can you try to unmute me, like type my name and see if it'll unmute?
You can't. It won't let you because I ended up saying half nigger, and they would not let me get back on into the next.
You guys are ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous, man.
I didn't even say nothing wrong. I just said you hate black women, and then it gonna say hate crime or something. I didn't even say that.
You deserve all the way out. You deserve that, Tanya. You deserve that because you be trying me. And Phoenix, are you gonna ask the question or not?
I'm done.
Good.
Good night.
Let me lock the box because I don't.
Yeah, black women do not get along at all. I don't even know why Phoenix even said that. There's no history of black women.
I can't even do the little emoji like the hammer and stuff. This is crazy.
You know what?
So I gotta talk.
You see what happens here, and you know what? I'm gonna wait till after this because you be starting stuff purposely.
What did oh my God, I didn't do anything.
This is your fault.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go ahead and finish this out. Let's finish this out. Because this is going on damn YouTube so all the brothers can see the Agents of Chaos in the damn comments. Let's continue.
So what do we do if we want to be in relationship with a man of color? And I'm talking black and brown man. Mm-hmm. What do we do? Because they're destroying the red man. They're destroying them with their liquor in their casinos. Mm-hmm. So indigenous women are having the same issue. But in many native indigenous nations, polygamy is part of the culture. It is.
But you don't think being with one person is natural?
No, I do.
Or you do think it's natural?
Yeah, I think if that's your choice, I do think it's. You asked me if I could do it.
See, I don't understand why DJ Envy would even ask that question when he slept with another woman. Why would you even ask that question? So you shouldn't even think that's even natural. It's again, brothers, is nothing wrong with you having more than one woman as long as you do it in order. Now, if you reckless these two, like these two up here on DJ Envy and Charlemagne, it's a whole different story. Those two are reckless. But if you do it in order, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you having more than one woman. Nothing wrong. So I don't understand why DJ Envy even asked that question to say, is it natural? You out of control. But it must be the light skin in that dude anyway, because that's the same dude that did the
Thanks, mother.
Not cheating walk. Let's continue.
Said, yeah, I could do it.
Absolutely.
But if I'm not advocating that, that's for me. Mm-hmm. I learned a long time ago that don't make decisions for other people. Mm-hmm. I can hardly find my glasses. I can't be making no decision for nobody.
You know, we had Lala up here about how long ago was that? A month and a half ago, maybe 2 months.
About 8 weeks ago.
And she was talking about marriage, and she said that people today don't date for marriage, and marriage isn't a priority for people anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It's changed. People don't even date anymore. I come from the day when you didn't take the guy home the first night and give him a key. I didn't. I don't come from that time. Now, you might take him around the corner and give him a little bit and act like you didn't, but you didn't take him home and give him a key. You just didn't do that.
Who's giving the guy the key?
Do people do?
Wait, what?
Sorry, is that because my hand didn't raise and all that?
No, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, who's giving the guy the key now? And I still think that women are still doing what she just said. She said back in her day, they were sneaking. So they were having sex, but sneaking. And now she's saying that women are fast to give the guy the key to actually live with them.
She said they would sneak and give like a head or something oral. But
no sex. She's not talking about head. She's talking about sex.
She's talking about sex.
Yeah. Oh. She's saying back in her day, they were sneaking. They would have sex basically, but sneak. But now she's saying that the guy gets the key to come home, like he actually gets to move in. And I think that that's actually not true. I think women are not sneaking now. They're probably open about them, but I don't think they're giving the key to the man the first night.
Well, Tanya, I think what she's trying, and this is, I'm just going to interpret what I believe that she's saying. You know, back then, nowadays, women have no shame. And I'm not saying all, but a lot of women have no shame. It's the things that they were doing back then, they were hiding it. It's not being hidden now. It's just they're open about the things that they're doing. A lot of things that women are doing.
But do you think that makes it better?
No, I don't think.
If you're still doing it?
No, it's not better, but it's just that women. I'm gonna say this, and y'all can take this how you want. Women back then had a little bit of dignity. They held themselves up like ladies. Women now today are not really carrying themselves like a lady. A lady is a standard. It's almost like saying that you're walking like a queen. We can't say that today. The way you see women that are dressed today, the way they carry themselves today, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of women today are acting like wild hyenas. Whether you want to believe it or not, and the way they carry themselves, it ain't like how they carried themselves back then. Just like I said about the pants, there were certain states that if a woman was wearing pants, they would get a ticket for that. They were not allowed to wear pants. I think it was until after 1950 when you started seeing women wearing pants. It was probably even before that, probably a little bit after World War II. Women started wearing pants. So the shame has gone away. Women are doing whatever they want. They could wear whatever they want. They don't care. Nobody can tell y'all what to do. So, hey, I think that's what she means. The shame is gone. That's how I'm taking what she's saying.
Go ahead, Mugga. Because I wanted to say something after Mugga.
No, go ahead. I'm trying to.
So here's the thing that I have an issue with, right? So you're saying that women carried themselves with dignity, but they were still doing raunchy stuff. They just was hiding it. So I'm in the minds of if you're saying that a man and a woman snuck away and they they had sex right after they met, but she just hid it. and that's dignity. I'm saying, like, why not participate in that behavior and wait to get to know the man a little bit more? You're talking about, how about just wear skirt, show up, pretend, right? That's because that is the way the her being 70, that is that baby boomer generation. They hid their dirt. But what makes you more of a woman by doing the same sex acts or being very promiscuous but hiding it? That doesn't make you more of a woman because you hide it. That doesn't make sense to me. Because you wear skirts, that makes you more of a woman. But at any given time, you can be on 5 dates and sleep with all 5 men.
Tanya,
I'm saying don't sleep with all 5 men. Get
Tanya,
to know
I'm not saying
the people
that
you're.
I'm not saying.
You
I'm not.
did just say that.
No,
and
no.
that's what she's saying. She's
no,
saying,
I'm just saying that it's hidden. Like, you wouldn't know. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, even.
But they're still doing it, and they still did it. They still slept around, but they hid it. And you saying that a woman holds their head with dignity when they able to wear skirts and not put their business out there? Because that's what she's saying. She's saying, oh, people. Even earlier, she said, why are people talking about what they do in the bedroom? That doesn't make you more of a woman because you are fucking all these different kind of men, and then you just don't say it. But it makes a woman less of a woman and more of a whore if she actually tells people she sleeps around. You both are doing the same thing. Just one has no shame.
I think the point that I'm trying to make is that you wouldn't know. That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't know. I'm not saying that whether they're. I'm not what a. Okay, you wouldn't know what. If I looked at if I see who's. Hey, what's her name? A celebrity, Nicki Minaj. You would probably think that the way she dresses, or the way she goes up on stage, you would probably look at her as, I'm not going to even say a whore, that she may have slept with a lot of women because her body, because her body is out. You know what I'm saying? You can see certain things. Her cleavage is out. You didn't see that back then like that. That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't know. I mean, yes, did it happen? More than likely, but you wouldn't know unless you have a conversation with that person. You find out that she is. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that the shame is gone. That's it. No, it's like, we can't tell y'all what to do. Y'all don't want us to tell y'all how y'all should dress. Just like y'all say, your body, your choice. Do whatever you want to do, right? Is your body your choice? Am I correct?
Now you're moving the goalposts.
I didn't move anything.
That it doesn't make Ayanna Van Zant more of a woman because she wears skirts and she can hide that she's a whore versus a woman who actually sleeps around and has no shame. They both are doing the same acts. So back in the day, they used to push that. We know for a fact that it happened because the hoe and pimp business didn't start with the modern day woman. The hoe and pimp business been around. And so just because you hide what you do, just because you hide your drug use, like they'll say, you guys put all this drugs in the songs. Yeah, but you guys were crackheads and did drugs too. You did drugs. You just hid it. You thought you were hiding it from your kids, and we knew you were doing drugs. We knew you told us to go in another room, that meant you were about to go smoke some reefer. Just because the parent now just openly smokes reefer doesn't, or weed, whatever it's called now, doesn't make them more or less. I just feel like the act is still done. She can't judge Nicki Minaj and go, dang, you wearing your boobs out? It makes me think that you're sleeping around when you actually did sleep around, ma'am. You don't know if she's sleeping around. So that's all I'm stating, is that if you're both doing it, you're both doing it. Just because you hide it, that's like saying, I get away with cheating, so I'm cheating. Would that make you feel less that your woman's not a cheater if you just because you didn't know? No. You're gonna call her every kind of name in the book, especially when you find out and she was hiding it. So I'm just saying that doesn't make you more of a woman because you hide it well.
Okay.
Are they talking about like Little House on the Prairie time period, or what time period were women not dressing scantily?
She talking about her time period. She's 70 now.
Is she 70?
All these old people, they always talk about in their time period they weren't doing this and doing that. Then you go back and listen to their music and see some of their black and white videos or whatever it was, and they were doing that.
Exactly.
They were. Like, she's not that old. Like, so that means she was kind of like in her 20s maybe 30s and the 80s, right? 20s and 80s, and that would have put her around the same time they was wearing biker shorts. Like women literally had biker shorts jubbed up their crotch, like literally everywhere. Like this is when they start saying doing the butt and all of that other stuff, right? Like they were doing the same stuff. Just now, like yeah, they're more vulgar. I would say more vulgar with it, but these women are the ones that are responsible for that movement. And they talk as if they came from the roaring 30s or something when they were wearing long dresses all the way down to their socks. She's not that old. Like unless she would have to be like 100 and close to 190 years old right now.
Right. I get what.
No, she would have to be over that if she was 20 in the 30s.
Started in the 20s.
But I get. I get what both of y'all are saying. All I was saying is that the shame is gone. That's it. It's not the way we're dressed. I get it. It probably started maybe in the 70s where people started dressing more. I guess
talking about the 20s.
Maybe the shame was never there. Maybe it was just enforced. Maybe women were always proud to dress a certain kind of way. They didn't have a problem with accentuating their bodies, and most men don't have a problem with that. But I think the majority of the men in most countries are just insecure. So there's a certain level of dressing. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain level to where your wife is dressing that I can understand if you're talking about wives. But if you're just talking about like, you're a single man and you're just talking publicly to women, yeah, it's kind of like, you guys are saying something that's low-key crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like a woman who.
That's what I think.
That's what you.
Because you hear a lot of older women saying this, and then you hear a lot of men saying it, but it's like, the men are saying it is like, I want to have, and I do think it is, you should be able to suggest to your spouse, like, I don't think that outfit would be good for this moment. I'll do it. And she do it back to me. I mean, that's not even a big deal. So when people be trying to like use the marriage thing, that's like, it really don't fit the narrative of this conversation, because we're talking about the social look overall, right? And then like for older women, once they get older, they're less attractive. They cannot wear more revealing stuff. And it seems like a lot of older women, they get on these pedestals and they start talking smack because it's over with for them.
They look like melted candles. It's like, I'm just checking.
Let me go ahead and finish this out, man. Y'all wildin', man. Y'all wildin'. I'm gonna stick with what I said anyway. So it's my truth. Isn't that what y'all females say? It's my truth. Oh, I'm sorry, not female.
But would you hit that right there though? Would you hit that right there, Slim?
No. I mean, you know what?
The respectable black woman on the screen?
You know what? I probably would smash. I probably would. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know. Yeah, see. That's wild.
Hey man, she might need somebody to knock them cobwebs out. You know what I'm saying? She be doing that.
And she's 70 talking about she would participate in poly. That's crazy to me. Grandma, like, give me some. I'm just joking.
See, you got Fame over here talking about. He said knock the sleeves off of her. Let's go ahead and continue.
The date, court. I'll tell you a funny story. Mm-hmm. When my daughter was about 16 years old, I came home one day. I come from the age and the era where you don't bring no boy in the house if your mama ain't home. Right. Did you come from that?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Come from that
absolutely.
Too, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I came home, and she was in the living room. They were sitting on the sofa watching TV. It looked very innocent, but then I know about sneaking around the corner and acting like you didn't. And I come from the time when a young man comes to a young lady's house for the first time, he has to bring a gift for the parents, to the mother at least, and he wants to meet the father. That's where I came from. So I came in and they're sitting on the sofa, and I looked at him and I said, "Who are you? Who are your people? And why are you in my house with my daughter? And where's my gift?" That boy,
he ran out of there.
He was traumatized.
That's real though.
I said, "Where's my gift? Would you come here to get something from my daughter and you don't bring me a gift? Who are your people? Where you come from? And he was, so my son said, wait a minute, Ma. Just wait a minute. He said, what's your name, son? And, you know, but where's that at?
Yeah.
Where are the fathers looking at who the girl is going out with? And where are the young men that you just come and mama's not home and you roll around in the hay and you don't even bring mommy a cookie, a flower, or nothing?
But those are the traditions that's not being taught no more.
I know.
Yeah. That must be something with the Indians, because I don't think it has to be. I've heard where in certain parts of Africa where they have to buy the woman in order to marry her, but I never heard of that. I don't know. I never heard about the gift thing. That's the first.
Mucka crazy. So here's the thing, right? She gonna say, where's the fathers? Where was their fathers? Because you just said that your son asked the guy, like, Mom, cool down. Hey, what's your name? So where was their father in their life? It's almost like, and then again, she's like, she knows, you know, what happens, what little girls do, because she did it. It's just, I don't know, like the stuff that she's saying to me, like, is not really realistic, because again, you know, if she's 70, her age, that doesn't put her in the 20s and 30s that she was raising her kids. And so a lot of the stuff she's talking about, like, I don't think that was in existence in the 80s and 90s, where you're bringing, you know, gifts home but if he brought you cookies, would it be okay to get your daughter's cookies? Or do you really want to get to know the family of the other people?
Tanya, you don't think that you reaching?
It's the stuff, the way that she.
But you reaching?
No, it's how it's the way that she's like stating this. It just appears like everything is a complaint when it comes to women or girls, and then she's saying, well, where's the fathers to do that? But did you talk about how your husband stepped in and helped and was there? No, because that's the first thing I asked. Where's the dad? Why didn't he step to the young man?
I don't know. You know what, Tanya? I'm gonna wait till the end. Let's go ahead and continue.
Oh, yeah. But we're gonna teach them in the rites of passage. We got certain kinds of things, because I think sometimes we get our hearts broken as women because we give away our dignity too soon and our value too soon, and we don't have appropriate requirements. Your wife has certain requirements for you, doesn't she?
Absolutely.
Does your wife?
Of course.
I know she does. Yeah. There's certain things that even if you think about it, you want to punch yourself in the eye.
All the time. I beat myself up for thinking about it.
That's right.
Because she has certain, but doesn't it call you higher?
But that didn't prevent y'all from cheating.
And being able to talk to her.
Go ahead, Tanya. What were you about to say?
I'm sorry. I just said that didn't prevent them both from cheating.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Is that? Again, let me wait till the end.
Her about those things, even about just those thoughts, helps the relationship.
Yeah, and it calls you higher. But if I'm gonna support you and being down in your lowest common denominator and then beat you up about it, and I'm talking partners, I'm talking mothers with sons, that's really my concern. I really want to support mothers in balancing themselves, because when the woman is balanced, it just has a ripple effect. Just like when she's out of balance. When your wife is upset, isn't that nerve-wracking for you?
Absolutely, the whole house. Yeah.
The whole house, the dog, the fish stops swimming.
That's right, everything.
So I really want to because the planet needs us.
Right.
It's not just about our personal relationships, you know. When I didn't run around when I was in a relationship. Nobody knew unless we went somewhere together. But just adding that balance, we don't have to talk about it and display it and all of that stuff. But for a woman to be in balance in her mind, in her life, in her spirit, the valuable contribution that she makes to everything, the workplace, the hospital, the kitchen, you know how many women are feeding their children bitterness and resentment and unforgiveness. It's in the grits. It's in the grits.
That's real. Wow.
They still mad at the baby daddy and they cooking that up in the mashed potato. No, stop it. Clean yourself out. He'll be back or not. Maybe, if he don't want to be with you, that's his loss.
Man, subscribe to the R Spot and get that hit.
What? Why does she really? Is his loss that he doesn't want? Boy, sometimes.
Out of everything this lady just said, that's the only thing you are hilarious.
No, I keep it real at all times, but no, brothers, don't believe what she said. You are not. Remember one thing that I've always said to you, especially you Black American men, y'all are the prize. Whether they want to believe it or not, brothers, they want you more than you want. They want you, brothers. All races want you. All races want to procreate with you, man of color, Black American man. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. Let's finish this out.
What does the R Spot mean? What does the R mean?
You know what the G spot is, right?
I do know
something
the G spot.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Well, the R spot is something good.
Well,
Did you get that voice? Did you get that voice?
We got that voice. Yes, we did.
It means relationship.
A relationship
spot.
Got you.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe to the R Spot.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Available everywhere you listen to podcasts.
Well, brother, that's pretty much it on this video. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of comments, a lot of commentary, a lot of hate, a lot of love, but it's all good, brothers, because at the end of the day, Elder Slim is going to be the winner at all times. I'm here for you, brothers. Don't let these women get you out of pocket. If they get you out of pocket, throw them in the trash can. But on that note, that's it.